Hey everyone, I'm back with another Marvel Strike Force character deep dive. Today, we're taking a look at Vision. Vision, I like Vision as a character, I really do. I'm a big fan of like the Young Avengers and the Champions. I think some people don't like them as much. I really do enjoy those teams because they were being really pushed when I was a kid. So, it's like, oh my gosh, like these are the kid characters and I'm a kid, like we're like the same. So I've always liked like Amadeus Cho, Vision, Young Nova, and they had like a young Cyclops for a little bit, Miles Morales, Kamala Khan. Like I don't know, I enjoy that team a lot, and I think they are underutilized. Young Avengers at least are getting some time in the MCU soon enough. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. But Champions, like we never see those people show up in anything, which I think is unfortunate. I think they're a cool team, and that is one of the primary things I think should be done with Vision. But let's take a look at Vision. As you can see, I have not built Vision up at all, and that is because Vision. This is really interesting, as opposed to characters like Iceman, who Iceman's kit is pretty good. Iceman's stats are out of date and his team's out of date. Vision, her team is out of date, but her skills are not out of date, nor are her stats. So she is just held back because her team is absolute garbage. She was a part of the Bionic Avengers team, which was the tech raid team before Pegasus, which Pegasus is honestly circling back around to be replaced within like a half a year. I mean, really not that close, but Pegasus is getting up there in terms of age. So Bionic Avengers are like completely out of date. They were relevant for the period I was not playing the game, so as you can see, I did not build them up. And when I came back to the game, everyone was like, Bionic Avengers are garbage, wait for the next tech team to come around, and I did, and Pegasus is pretty cool. So unfortunately, this team is like this team's like garbo. Like, I have never ever looked at this team. I've never used them for anything. I like Iron Man, but I used them back in the day for like power armor, Vision. He's never been like that good in this game, which I think is unfortunate, and he's stuck on this weird Bionic Avenger team like Deathlock and Hulkbuster. It's cool we have these guys in this game, but like they're stuck on this team. Like, I think this team is like, this is one of the worst tags in the game, and I think all 5 of these characters are being done a disservice by being stuck on the Bionic Avenger team. We'll circle around to these other 4 characters eventually, and I'll probably say the same thing, like, man, I wish these people were something else. Like, I wish they were on a broader tech team or something. So let's go back to Vision. We're going to dig into her kit because it's honestly a really good kit, and we're just going to find throughout the entire kit she's held back because she is stuck to that Bionic Avenger team, and like she is stuck to that team far more than other characters. And that team is so bad, like they're not used in raids. A ton of their gimmicks are hidden behind raids, and so if you're not using them in raids, they're out of date in raids where they get the bonuses. They're extra out of date whenever you're not using them in raids because they weren't even good in raids outside of raids when they first came out. So she's like stuck on this horrible team. It's just, man, it's sad, the state of Vision right now. Here we are in the PowerPoint. Let's start taking a look at Vision's kit. 2 things to highlight here with the passive. One, this is really important here, this first line. Whenever this character or a Bionic Avenger ally gains ability energy, heal self and all Bionic Avenger allies for 3% of this character's max health. So she is a support character, and this is where the support comes through. You will see throughout her kit, she's providing ability energy. It is a very powerful mechanic. I mean, she's providing a lot of ability energy, and her heals are not horrible. The problem is it's stuck to the Bionic Avengers. A lot of her stuff's only giving ability energy to the Bionic Avengers, and the Bionic Avengers are kind of bad. Not kind of bad, they are bad. So, if she could do this for all tech heroes or for Young Avengers or Champions or any other number of things, Vision would actually be really good. But unfortunately, she's only really good for like one of the 4 worst characters in the game. So that you'll find that throughout her kit. Also, whenever this character or any Bionic Avenger ally drops below 50% max health, she does do some good stuff. She clears Disrupted, clears Heal Block, and applies Stealth. Plus, if it was raids, she's going to give ability energy. So really good passive right here. Just unfortunately, at every single moment where it's really good, it's locked behind the Bionic Avengers. I wanted to note, Vision does have some specific synergy with Vision. Like, they kind of call each other out, which I think is cool, considering like he's her father. And I think it'd be really cool if we got Speed and Wiccan, and then we could do like a like a Scarlet Witch, Vision, Vision, Speed, Wiccan team. Like, oh, I think that'd be kind of cool. I do enjoy the fact that they call each other out, and I thought it was worth noting. This is a part of Vision's passive. This is some more survivability for Vision. So if Vision drops below 50%, he's applying Death Proof to her, and if she gets ability block, he's clearing the negative effects off of her. So that's my interpretation of Vision's passive. So I like that. I think I like the idea of using Vision and Vision as a package. You know, like I like the idea that if they were both synergistic tech characters, like you could do, you know, like let's say Pegasus kind of grow out of date, or, you know, Kestrel moves on to another team. We could do Iron Man Infinity War, you could do like Ironheart Mark II, and you could do like Rescue. And then you say, okay, we need 2 more. Like, let's put Vision and Vision with them. And like, that's a cool team right there. So I really would I like this fact that Vision and Vision synergize with each other. Unfortunately, you know, both of them are stuck to the Bionic Avengers. So, but I wanted to include this. I thought this was a relevant part of her kit, and this is relevant to a potential rework for her. With Vision, it's just, right now, both of them are stuck on the Bionic Avengers. Here's her basic attack. Now this one, not only is it stuck to raids when she's giving ability energy, it's also Bionic Avenger allies. Like, oh my goodness, what a horrible. You know, if this was just for everyone, this would be a great basic. I mean, she's giving out ability. 2 ability energy for random ally. Like, oh my gosh, like that's super good. Like that is like so good. She's applying deflect. I mean, this is an awesome basic attack. It is just stuck to a irrelevant mode and an irrelevant team. So if it was for tech outside of, for any mode, you know, this would be really good. You could actually use Vision on a lot of teams. This special is probably less exciting, I would say. She is generating ability energy, which is good. It's very thematic for the robots, like they're very energy based, and so we're kind of seeing that come through in her kit by giving out the energy, and the energy is kind of like a little yellow glowing ball, and then the diamond on their head's kind of like yellow and glowing. I don't know, I think it kind of works thematically. So good special right here, mostly because it's giving ability energy out. This ultimate I want to highlight. I really like this line right here, where she is attacking the primary target and all enemies in that character's row. I think this is something really underutilized in the game. The only other character I can think of that does row-based attacks is Beta Ray Bill. With I think his basic attack does it, like he kind of, his hammer flies through one of the rows. I really like this because, again, I've spoken about the fact that like tanks, you want to put them in the back row, back in the corner, so if there's splash damage, they're only hitting one other person. But if you had your tank in the back row and they're taunting and Vision does her ultimate, now she's hitting 3 people because she's hitting all 3 people in the back row. So it's like, oh, like maybe I want to put the tank in the front against Vision because then she'd only hit 2 people, but then I have to account for the fact that was splash damage. Now the splash damage would hit 3 people. I think this is a really interesting utilization of the spacing within Marvel Strike Force that is sometimes kind of just like, oh yeah, like space, put the tank to the side. But I think if more characters had mechanics like this, there'd actually be some more like where am I going to put my characters on the team? So I really do like that. I wish we saw that in more characters. I think it just feels awesome to use. Like I feel like it's very visceral when you're like, yeah, like I'm attacking this row, like it's like you're swiping toys to the side or something. Like, you know, it's like you have characters do attack on some random person. It's like, okay, like they're just doing a base attack, or the ultimate's just gonna hit like everyone on the enemy team, like okay. But like it feels very like, yeah, like I'm hitting these 3 people right here. It actually feels like you have a little bit more control over it, like a little bit more like you're performing that action as opposed to the character. I just find it more satisfying. I don't know, it's just me. Again, unfortunately, she is restricted to generating ability energy for Bionic Avenger allies, so you know, like that's unfortunate right there. But she is flipping negative effects to positive effects, which is good, and then applying blind, which is good. So what's there to like about Vision? I think her row attack, I love the row attack, I really do. I love the row attack. I wish we saw more of that, and I like having Vision in the game. I think she's a fun choice. I think it is not every day you see a character in Marvel Strike Force or Marvel mobile games as a whole that have not been added to other Marvel mobile games. Like for example, I do not believe Vision is in Marvel Future Fight. So like I think she's in Contest of Champions, but it is cool to see the characters come to these games that have not been made playable before. Like, you know, that is the special part about these mobile games that run for like 6-7 years. You know, you get like, when else in our lives are we gonna get to see Vision become playable? You know, like I think it's cool. Like it's like, all right, like Vision, like finally some you know, some spotlight for her. I just think it's really cool, and that's one of the hooks of these long running mobile games to me, is like we really get to add all the characters to the game. So anyways, con, she's irrelevant. So bit of a you know, a switch there in terms of positivity to negativity, but you know, she's stuck to the Bionic Avengers team, which, as I mentioned, are out of date in the modes they're best in, and outside of that mode they were out of date from the start, so they're just like super duper bad. What can we do with her? I wanted to note the stat. I was like, man, why does nobody use Viv Vision? I was like, maybe the stats are bad. No, they're not, because if we saw the passive, it's based off her max health. She's doing healing. Her health is pretty good. I was like, maybe her focus is kind of bad, and so she's not landing these effects. No, her focus is pretty good. So like, what's wrong with that? And really, she is stuck. She is like attached to 4 garbage characters. If she could be broadly a tech support team, so again, like, you know, if she could be put onto Pegasus or some of the Sinister Six or something like that, or her and Vision could pair up and then join like the Avengers and provide some synergy to like Iron Man and War Machine or something, like a Power Armor type of team. I think there is a ton of interesting potential for a tech support plug-in play. I love, you know, mentioned it many times through these videos, I like families of characters that are not necessarily like the Fantastic Four. Like, I enjoy it when like, oh, the bio characters work together, and like naturally you would have some sort of teamwork there because each character has similar powers, you know, and that kind of thematically is very engaging to me. So I like that. I think she has a lot of potential as a tech support. I think she is honestly maybe too strong to just be like a broadly, like, gives that ability energy to everyone, you know, just by standard, you know. That, I mean, she is a really good kid. I think limiting it to tech kind of makes you have to think about it a little bit, you know. And then we have characters that counter tech, like well, Black Bolt. I mean, Black Bolt, who cares about Black Bolt? But he does counter villain tech. So if we saw more characters that could counter tech, there would be counterplay. Like, I think Magneto, they could buff him to counter tech if they wanted to someday. So like, if this was too good, by having it restricted to tech, you're creating a avenue for counterplay at some point. We could see her join the Young Avengers. They're champions. We got Miss Marvel. I think they could add a Young Nova to the game. Everyone would love that. They would totally buy Young Nova. We got Amadeus Cho, which he's doing nothing right now. I mean, the Gamma team's still pretty good, but like, okay, we could put him on champions. Like, it wouldn't be there in the world. Miles Morales, doing nothing, could join this team. We got Viv Vision right here. Like, we got a pretty good champions lined up in the game right now. Unfortunately, there'd only be one new character. I will say, I don't want a 5-person champion team. Like, I would like to be like a bunch of characters in the game. Like, all the young characters are champions, or preferably they just go in and they say all these young characters are Young Avengers. We have like the Young Avengers right now, but like, we could add Amadeus Cho to there. We could add Viv Vision. We could add characters like Ghost Spider. I just think I'd really like to see these young characters get a broad team. Like, we have the Avengers, who conceptually have synergy in Marvel Strike Force. It doesn't really turn out that way because the devs are a little restrictive sometimes. And we got the X-Men, you know, like, that's like a broad pool of characters who, again, don't really have synergy because the devs can be a little goofy, but you know, they kind of do. And so I think it'd be fun to have this other family of like the Young Avenger characters. Like, all the young characters in the game can kind of play off each other. Right now, the Young Avengers in the game, like, who cares? What are they, like a war defense team or something like that? Nobody cares about them. Like, let's like, just get rid of that. You know, let's broaden that. Let's just make them a team of synergistic characters like the Avengers, where it's just like, oh, like, let me pick 5 of them and put them on a team together. I also include this line here: gain 25% dodge chance. I think, considering she is Vision's child, I think she should have some more aspects of Vision. And back in the day, like, I mean, literally like 5 years ago when Vision released, he was kind of irritating to go against because of this dodge chance. Like, it was like, what? Like, why is he dodging everything? And I do think it would be interesting if Vision got some of this dodge chance in her kit by default to kind of mimic some of Vision's kit, you know, a little bit more connection between the two of them in terms of gameplay. They do share aspects in terms of their kit, but I think this would be more like they are literally like the same thing. My understanding, at least. I don't know, you know, correct me if I'm wrong there, but like, they are both like the same type of robot. Vision's big thing is phasing through stuff, so why can't Vision do that to the same extent? I think that would be like a small buff to her character that would give her a lot of survivability and a little bit more utility, because, you know, right now she, you know, it's like, ooh, we're not going to use her on any team, and even if she did get onto a team, perhaps she'd be too fragile to really make it to see any use for this ability energy generation. But by giving her some dodge chance, Vision might get a little bit more time on the field to provide support for the team. So this right here could be the future for Vision. I mean, look at this team. Like, we already got Miles Morales and Miss Marvel here, but like, Oh my gosh, this team is so boring. Like, oh my, whenever I see them on war defense, it's like, man, who cares? Like, I'm just like, man, what a boring team to go against. It's just such like a nothing team. Let's just make it broader. Let's put all the young characters on there, and I think Viv Vision would be very synergistic with these characters. She has a super duper strong kit. Giving out ability energy is wonderful. You know, Thanos, he had a long lifespan before Black Order were in the game because he was giving out energy to the team. And like that was super duper good. And Viv Vision does that with like every ability in her kit. Like Viv Vision has a super strong kit. Unfortunately, it is stuck to those Bionic Avengers. So if we saw a future where either she was made to be broadly synergistic with like Young Avengers, if that tag was cleaned up, or a Champions team, or she could just be made broadly a tech synergy character, and I think that would give Viv Vision a lot of usage within the game. Suddenly she would be, I mean, look at this. I only built her up to tier 4 because for the B-roll you've seen up there, I wanted you to be able to see all of her abilities. Like Viv Vision, nobody's building Viv Vision, and it's unfortunate because she has good stats and a good kit. Just clean up those tags, and then Viv Vision could be a really good character in the game. But you know, let me know what you guys think about Viv Vision in the comments below. Maybe some of you were here for Viv Vision's time in the spotlight, and maybe you still use Viv Vision, but I think for new players coming in the game, Bionic Avengers, don't touch that team. Like it's that team's kind of stinks. So. But at the end of the day, what do I really know? I'm just a 22-year-old. Hope you all have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.